morning, everyone. Hey, this is Lori Mueller with StampinDreams.com, coming to you on Monday morning, March 1st. March 1st. So St. Patty's Day is not too far away, but I'm not quite there yet for creating St. Patty's Day cards or packages, but that is next on my to-do list. So I hope you are having a fantabulous Monday morning and are ready to start the whole week. The temperatures around here are warming up, and yeah, pretty soon I can start shedding some of these layers, extra layers that I've been wearing for way too long. So good morning, good morning. So glad to have you here. I am still on my brushed blooms kick. I just cannot get enough of it. I love the mix of the florals, and or if I wanted to make little motifs because of the mix of the die cuts that come in the set, but also the sentiments have a nice fun little saying in there that, you know, if you're out having a great time, you got to be in bed by 9. Everything can be good until 9 o'clock, and then you're off to your never dreamland for the evening. But I have a card that I'm going to be using the Brushed Blooms bundle to create a sympathy card. Yes, sadly, those are the types of cards that we need in our stash, and I am really short on them right now. And so I am pushing myself to not only create fun and whimsical and encouraging cards using the brushed blooms, but also to tie in that this set can bring happiness in a very sad time. So when I created this, the celebration stamp set Heal Your Heart was available, and as long as it's in your hands, you will be able to recreate this card that I'm going to showcase for you today. But otherwise, there are many other sets that are found in the annual catalog that I feel will fit the bill as well as far as the sentiment, because the Brushed Blooms does not render a sympathy or a thinking of you sentiment, but that's okay, because this is the fun of utilizing our collection of stamps and dies and all of our great, wonderful products that we love from Stampin' Up! So again, this is Lori Mueller with StampinDreams.com, and I am here to share another card using the Brushed Blooms bundle. And as a side note, I had a great response on my Brushed Blooms class to go. The registration did end yesterday or late last night, simply because option 1 did render the inclusion of a level 1 celebration item. Now, if I have a growing response that say, oh my gosh, I wish I would have gotten in on this class to go, and so far I've been getting responses saying, I need this, I want to create this class because it has 6 projects. So send me a private message or email me or text me to let me know that, oh darn, I missed the deadline, can I still get it? And we will, I'll reopen it. I'll reopen the registration so that you can get in on this exciting class to go, because you know, out of all the samples that I've been showing you, I'm hoping that it has really encouraged and enticed your creative spin on things. So, but with that said, I am going to flip the camera around and we are going to get started with our stamping. Good morning, everyone. So glad to see you. All right. So this bundle that I keep playing with right here is the Brushed Blooms. It comes with this beautiful stamp set, the bundle does, and this wonderful whimsical set of dies. And here's a few creations here that you can either case or gain inspiration on. But for my creation today, I used this one as my inspiration. I didn't case it, you know, identical, but not too far off, but this was my inspiration that I went with to create my sympathy card. Now, granted, I had mentioned that the Heal Your Heart celebration set, you could have gotten it free with your qualifying order. This particular set, the Happy Thoughts, is another option for you because it does have a thinking of you. But I just love this card that I created, and I want to recreate it identical to what it is. And I know I'm not the only one to have those feelings that when you see something, it's like, oh, I want to make it just like this one. And so I'll have all of the ingredients and everything on my blog for this particular card later today, or first, I can't remember when I have it scheduled. It might be going live tomorrow, but anyway, this is where I got my inspiration. So why don't we get started? So this is the Brushed Blooms stamp set and the coordinating dies again, and you can get this as a bundle, and the bundle runs $49.50, and it's a great deal. I have gotten so much use out of it. So today's card is this one right here. Isn't that pretty? I'm using mint macaron as my background, and then I decided to, based on the inspiration, create my own background, and it's a mix of stamps and die cuts. Okay, and then the designer series paper, I used the Tasteful Labels, or the Stitched So Sweetly, sorry, Stitched So Sweetly dies, and I used the second to the largest one to die cut one of the patterns. Now, to tone down the black and white, I love black and white with any mix of colors, but I wanted it to kind of take the back stage to my very beautiful focal point that utilizes Flirty Flamingo Mango Melody. And then we've got some soft sea foam, and then bringing in some more of the mint macaron. But I covered with a layer of vellum over top of the designer series paper, so it kind of adds a soft touch to it, and then tones down the brightness of that basic black color that's in that designer paper. But and then I've the snail mail baker's twine. The twine combo is a huge hit. This is the only white that we have as far as the baker's twine, and so I added a little big bow behind that. And then the sentiment is one long image, but I decided to kind of cut it up a little bit and then stagger it to kind of fit within the realm of this scallop rectangle instead of having it, you know, all one. I think it looked a little bit better that way, making it a little bunched all together and softer on the eyes. So, all right, so let's get started. I have the pieces here of mint macaron, and it measures 5.5 by 8.5, and then I scored it at 4 1/4. All right, and then I've got a piece of mint macaron that we are going to die cut with this particular die. All right, so I'm going to have that, and I've got some basic white cardstock to do my stamping of the flowers and the leaves. And then I already went ahead and die cut my True Love Designer Series paper with the Stitched So Sweetly die. And then my vellum layer, I just went with the stitched measurements, but this one measures 3 1/4 by 2 1/8. And then it is going to lay over top like that. And then I'll have, oh, this is my background. Sorry, that's my background, white layer, the 5 1/4 by 4. So that's going to lay over top like that. And then this is my scrap of white for all of my stamping. And then another piece of scrap white for my sentiment. And yeah, I think I've got all my pieces. And then I've got the snail mail twine. And I think that's it. All right, so let's get started. I can go ahead and burnish my mint macaron background. And if you're just jumping on, you are not late, and the replay will be saved to my Facebook page, so don't worry about that. And then, but if you can pop in and tell me, you know, if you're new to me, let me know where you're from, and maybe how long have you been stamping? And we can have some fun getting to know new people. Now, the tip I have for vellum, it is kind of tricky when it comes to using liquid glue, this Stampin' Seal, glue dots, is that the vellum is see-through. Even my fingers, you can see through, right? So the trick to doing this is I prefer the liquid glue, and I kind of rub it around on my finger and add it to my piece of paper, whether it's designer paper or it's you know, cardstock. But if you just make it tacky enough, the vellum is going to stick just nicely. So I'm going to layer this in between, within the boundaries of the stitched layer. Okay, just like that. And see, you don't see any of the adhesive when I do that, but it's stuck. And you don't need a whole lot, but you do want to mix it on. I use my fingers. You can use a sponge and to kind of sponge it on there, but you just want to make certain you don't put your dollop on the vellum or on the designer series paper and expect it to, you know, be invisible. So that's the best trick that I have. Now granted, your fingers will be a little tacky, but you know, that's kind of like the replacement of the take your pick tool. So all right, so I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to go ahead and let's get our stamping out of the way for our sentiment. And I'm using Memento Tuxedo Black, and I'm using the Sorry for Your Loss. I had my best friend from high school. We are still really close, but I spent a lot of time at her home when we were going to school, and her father passed away this last weekend, and or I guess the weekend before. So I went and paid my respects, and of course, you know, when you have somebody that close to you, you feel, or I do anyway, that my cards have to be extra special. So yeah. All right, so I've already cut out a couple or stamped a couple of the leaves, the images here, right there. And I have a trick on this one that you notice that has a tail, right? It has a stem that goes with it, but the stamp does not. And so the trick for that is to stamp your image in a corner with your leaves in the corner. All right, so I'm going to ink that up really good, and I'm going to put this in a corner because when I go to die cut it, the die cut will include the stem to my leaf. All right, so I'm sure not to overcut in a space, so it'll be just like that. All right, so next we want to stamp one Mango Melody rose. All right, I'm just gonna pop that down right here. All right, love it. Let's see, I did have right there. All right, so I'll set that aside because I only want one of that color, and it's the largest of the two flowers. And then I want two Flirty Flamingo flowers. All right, and give it some nice ink here, and stamp there, and give it another image. think that's it for that particular inking. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and let's get our die cutting out of the way, and then we'll stamp and do the background. All right, so I'm gonna set those leaves aside. I'm gonna bring in my trusty cut and emboss machine. Now, if you have been a stamper or paper crafter for a fairly good time, and you find yourself purchasing a large amount, you know, whether it's $100 or more, you know, and it can be an increment much larger than that as well, I highly encourage you to think about purchasing Stampin' Up's Starter Kit, because you could, if you wanted, put this machine on in your starter kit, because you can hand select whatever you want. The starter kit is $99, but you get to fill it with $125 worth of product. And with the die cutting machine, you can do some embossing, you can do die cutting. Yeah, the possibilities are endless, and just makes your creativity go much faster. And you can actually be even more creative than you thought, because you can start thinking outside the box a little bit more with some of the dies that are available. You know, use them for non-traditional purposes that they were originally created to be used for. All right, so I'm going to be able to do these dies. So if you're ever thinking about purchasing that starter kit, and then every purchase after that, you get a 20% discount on everything that you purchase. So, and the one falsehood that you may have heard is that you do not need to be a seller. You can just be an extremely happy shopper. And who doesn't like discounts on everything that you purchase? I mean, I still take coupons to the grocery store, you know, to purchase whatever it is that might intrigue me. You know, I might not buy the item if I didn't have a coupon for it. So, all right, so I've got those die cut, and I need one more flower. And I've got my leaves already. So I'm going to die cut this flower. And I would do my paint swatch one, but it's a bigger, well, maybe I can put it at the end to kind of save on a passing. All right, so I'm going to put this there. Oops, that's not. And until we had a magnetic plate, but until that comes back available, you can use washi tape to keep your dies in place, or a post-it note, that'll work. All right, so I'm going to, this is the paint swatch die that I want, and I'm going to go ahead and stick that here on the bottom, and we will do it all at the same time. And I'm going to go at an angle. Let's see, let's cut this off, so then I can use a little bit of that. And I'm going to go at an angle so that it's less stress on my die and on my die cutting machine. All right, put this top plate on top and run it through. There we go. See how smooth that went through? There we go. All right, and I think that's all I need this for. Take these off, put that away. All right. Yay, so pretty, pretty, pretty. And then, oh, there's one that popped out right away. Now, sometimes I just have, I put a little, oh, that's not going to work this time. Oh, there came out one. They kind of loosen themselves up a little bit in here. And then I can retrieve them. Otherwise I'll just take my, I forgot to bring my brush that all right, I know it, there we go. All right, and I think I'm gonna use all of those, and then I already had a couple others that I'm going to include as well. So I'll just stagger them on my background piece that we're going to create. And then you can use this as a mask, or use it for another creation. So don't discard that, because there's lots of potential with that. All right, so I'm gonna set those aside, and I'm going to put the vein portion that I'd already pre-die cut on top of my leaf. And I just use a nice thin stream of liquid glue. Now you could die cut these from our adhesive sheets if you like. That'd be great if you're going to be die cutting a whole bunch of them, which I actually did die cut a bunch of these when I first got this set, just to help me save time on a card swap that I was getting ready for. All right, so I've got my 3 leaves, and then I have, all right, I know I have a second flower. Oh my goodness. Am I gonna have to stamp another flower? I know. Oh, I know I have it somewhere. Oh, goodness gracious. I don't see it on the bottom of my ink pads. Maybe it went under my surface here? Nope. Ah, there it is. I bet it was sitting right there all along, wasn't it? Gosh. Oh, you guys were keeping it a secret to see how long it would take me to find it. I'm sure of it. Okay, so now how I like to assemble my little floral arrangement. I know you guys were hiding it from me. It's like, I'm gonna set up my flowers. That is too funny. Like this. And then I like to just pick up the one piece and add a little bit of adhesive on a good chunk of it. And then I can just put it back in place. It's like, why reinvent the wheel of mastering where everything's gonna go? Just like that. And then that way I can add dimensionals to the entire thing and pop it up all at once. And then I'll tuck in, let's see, so the leaves, we can tuck in one, and it's gonna actually go under. Let's see, I'm gonna move, let's move this one a little bit like that, because then I'm gonna put my leaf right in there. All right, love, love, love. I just like putting a little puzzle together, except for you don't have to worry about, matching up all your different colors and shapes, and the end pieces are about the easiest, and corners, right? But here you can assemble your puzzle pieces just as you wish them to go together. And that's going to be our little ensemble right there. And then we are going to stamp our background, okay? So as I'd mentioned, we're going to use this particular brush stroke, the smaller of the two. There are 2 of them, a skinny one and then kind of a fat one. Brushes come in all different shapes and sizes. So we're going to use that particular one. And I just randomly put them on the background, and then I filled in with my die cuts. All right, so I'm going to bring in my mint macaron and we'll get started. And you kind of want to have some of them that are off the page a little. You want some of them that are full ink. And then we'll and then I kind of did a little flip around depending on where things are going to be seen. All right, and then I'm gonna, yeah, let's do another one about right there. And then because I have my placing laminated, all right, I'm trying to stay horizontal with the line edges so that it doesn't look too off, like that. And we'll do another one like this. Let's flip this one around. Like that. And I think that's good. All right, because I don't want to overdo it because I have my die cuts that are going to be coming in, and I just randomly filled in the spaces and kind of overlapped a little bit. So I could actually start adding a few of these pieces because I know that they're going to rest right there. And again, you want some of these to go off the page because we can trim them when, let's see, did I get enough? Yeah, I need a little more adhesive. There we go, like that. And then I've even got like a little stub piece right here that I can fill in. Let's see, I think I'm gonna take, I have this, where's my big piece? Right here. So I want to put this one about right there. So I'm gonna actually put my adhesive on this layer because it's going to rest on there. And then that'll be a long trim that I'm gonna do. And I can bring in this little guy. Like that. And let's see. And I'm gonna think about trimming off a couple of these and repositioning them within my background. And the fun thing is you can mix and match your colors. You can you know, get your tails to look a little different wherever you place them. All right, so here I want that one right there. Now the center part I don't have to worry too much about because it's going to be covered up by my designer series paper piece. All right, put that right there. And I have another piece I want about right there. Now I think I'll just cut that off. And position that here. And then I can actually put that one right there. So you can have some fun with this. And no two are going to look alike, right? And you almost don't want them to be identical. And let's see, so we're going to go ahead and put this whole piece about So I need a piece right there. Let's try, so about right here is where I would end with my adhesive. Now these pieces are thick enough that you can use your Stampin' Seal if you like. But as everybody probably knows, my go-to is my liquid glue. All right, so let's see. I need a little piece right there. We'll just use up this little scrap. There we go. And I think I'm going to do, let's see, let's trim this off. And I can use the other section of this one at the top. There's kind of a void up there. Now, that, and I can do the same thing with these. There we go. And I think I'm going to add this one at the top right there. Give it a little bit of filler in there to avoid a void. Avoid a void. All right. And I think, and I'm not going to worry about the center there because like I said, my focal point is going to be filling in that spot. All right, let's add that. All right, so next up we want to add a little bit of pizzazz per se, and bring in a little bit of the black polka dots, but I'm not going to go for the true full color of the black. I'm going to use the technique of stamping off. So I'm gonna ink this up. This little, kind of reminds me of a strawberry in a way. And I'm gonna stamp off, and then I'm going to randomly add, and I'm gonna actually go over top some of the die cuts, like that, and just add a little pizzazz, like that. And I'm trying not to line them up horizontally or vertically. Oops, I stamped off twice there. I only wanted to do once. All right. And let's see, where do we want? Right here, just a little color. And maybe right there. And oh, I don't have anything right there. Oops, and here I went horizontal. But I think we're good. I'll add one in the corner here. All right, that looks good. So cover up your ink pad, and now we can attach this to the front of our card base. And look how fun that background is. You can do so much when you create your own. Just let your imagination, your dreams run wild. All right, just like that. Now we are going to pop up this layer right here using Stampin' Dimensionals. And we'll put one in each corner for sure. And then down the center. And then I like to add one. I'm just using up some of my little halvesies here and make certain that the edges don't fall in, they don't cave in. right, up, that one didn't come off. Oh, neither did that one. The static is really bad here today. I should straighten this one out. I got a little kitty wampus there so it doesn't show through. Now I can attach this in the center of my card. And we're going to add some dimensionals here. And we're going to use a mix of the main ones and the mini ones, because the minis are the great support for the leaves. And I'll go ahead and put that there, because these leaves need something a little bit smaller, so our minis are perfect for that. That, and one more. Yeah, I'll put one there too. Can't be alone, left out in the dark. All right, so remove all the backings. I'm so thankful that they have these mini dimensionals, because there's just always sometimes a little tight squeeze. Oh, before I put that down, haha, I knew I was going to forget this. We want to make a large bow. And I know some people aren't big fans of baker's twine, but this one you don't have to be very particular with it. You just want to make some big loops that are going to rest across, and just to kind of hover over to make certain it's not too, yeah, it's a little bit big, so I'm going to tighten that up a little bit like that. And all my dimensionals are going to be able to hold it in place, so I'm going to tuck that down here a little bit. So I mean, you could use a glue dot to hold it in place if you wanted. All right, come on. Oh, I'm getting it down there too far to... There we go. Plant. Right there. All right, and I can also pull on my... and cut away, cut a little bit there. Woohoo, looking good. All right, and the last thing is to cut away the sentiment. And I didn't worry too much about going around all of the letters. You know, the big curvy ones, of course, you want to add a little flair, but I did just go straight across and then gave the Y a little bit of character, and going around the curve. There we go, get rid of that. Add a little bit of curve there. Come back up. And then I can finish it off like that. So there's that one. Some people like to add a little pencil line that goes around the area that they want to cut, just to give them guidance to ensure that they're not, you know, cutting corners or making it too much shadowing around your image. So that works really good too, because then, you know, with the pencil you can easily erase any of the lines that you still see if you didn't cut right on the line. But all right, let's get rid of that. and get the rest of our 4, and then add a little bit of a, like that. Yay! All right, so now with this one, oops, I got a little warpy here. I like to use the edges of my mini dimensionals because they're long and I can make them as skinny as I need. And like that. Let's see, let's get this long one right here. There we go. Just like that. Okay, and we'll peel this away. And then you can just position it where it fits among your ensemble here. Like that. Yeah, I think I'm going to move this, shift it over just a little, give it a little bit more flair. There, like that. And there we have it. Our 2 beautiful sympathy cards. And, you know, like I said, no 2 backgrounds are ever going to come out identical. But the brushed blooms, if you don't have it, you really, really need it for your stash. I know you're going to love it. And again, if you're interested in my brushed blooms class to go, registration did end yesterday, but I've already had a number of people ask me to reopen it. So let me know if you're interested in it, and I can reopen it and go from there. So let's go ahead and flip back here. All right. So I hope that inspired you to get in your stamp room or your craft space and just have some fun. And bring all those colors and great tools that you have in your stash and just make a card or a 3D project, home decor. Just have some fun. Let out the fun in your heart and have a great day. So thank you for joining me. I'm very appreciative every time I get to see and visit with you. Until then, I'll see you next week. Have a great day. Bye.